Hey, is that our walk-in ready? How are you, ma'am? Okay, but we still need MFD. Let's see. Looks like they might be ready. Okay, admit. Yeah, somebody else is checking in. Okay, Miss Brico, how you doing? Mr. Brico, did you get the name of the other person you believe to be a walk-in?
Good morning, Judge. I did not. I'm sorry. I have to run out there and grab it real quick.
Okay, we'll find out soon. Clerk will
Yep,
be back.
I'm having someone check on that.
Okay, so
True.
we have Mr. Butler here. Mr. Butler has some tickets, and then we're gonna do the walk-in. Okay, so Mr. Brico, I'm gonna handle his tickets first. Mr.
Okay,
Butler,
Judge.
you had some court dates and you failed to appear, so there were several bench warrants that were issued. The court's gonna set those bench warrants aside. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you could not afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you. The court is calling ticket number 485-496. You're charged with no operator's license, no insurance, and unregistered vehicle. Ticket number SP 115146. It's 1115146. You're charged with driving an unregistered vehicle, no insurance, and improper plates. Ticket number SP 1115160. Charged with driving while license suspended. Ticket number SP 1130898. Charged with failure to display a valid license, no insurance, and unregistered vehicle. Ticket number SP 716086, charged with driving while license invalid. Ticket number SP 793876, charged with failure to display a valid license, unregistered vehicle, and no insurance. Ticket number SP 794029, you're charged with driving while license suspended. Ticket number SP 975780, failure to display a valid license and no insurance. Ticket number SP 996757. Hold on a moment. Yes, you're charged with driving with license improper or invalid and no insurance. Ticket number SP 1206724. You're charged with driving while license suspended. Ticket number SP 1282392. Driving while license invalid. No, that's it. Ticket number SP 1479129. Driving while license suspended and no insurance. And ticket number SP 1603898. No insurance and driving while license suspended, repeat offender. So, Mr. Butler, for those charges, you could face up to 93 days in jail and/or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 27th at 9 a.m. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Yancey. Okay? All right. So I need you to restate your name for the record, and we're going to move on to your main case. Okay. Court is calling case number 2505789701. The people of the state of Michigan versus Adrian Lavelle Butler. Can I have your appearances, please?
Magistrate, Mr. Brico. Good afternoon, Steve Vincent for the people, P71917.
Good afternoon, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Vincent. Miguel Brico, P88379. On behalf of Mr. Butler, Mr. Butler has been advised of his constitutional rights, Judge. He waives a formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, and respectfully requests that this court enter a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Okay, then. Good afternoon, Mr. Rico. Thanks for joining us and welcome back, Mr. Vincent. Okay, Mr. Butler, the court will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Mr. Vincent, is there a bond recommendation?
Recommending personal, no drugs, no drugs.
No objection.
All right, then. Let's see. 5, 20. Okay, Mr. Butler, the court is going to set a $5,000 personal bond, which means you don't have to post any money. But while you're on bond, sir, you are not to use any illegal controlled substances. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hold on for your next court dates. All right. You have two court dates, Mr. Butler. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Giles. Then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That is scheduled for June the 13th at 8:30. That will also be before Judge Giles. However, that will be in person in the 36th District Court. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Then that concludes this matter.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. The walk-in, that would be Ms. Johnson. Okay, are we ready on Ms. Johnson? Parties?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir, your name, please? Mr. Caldwell. Okay, give us a moment. We're working on another matter right now. But just give us a moment. Ms. Johnson? Okay, hold on. Okay. All right.
Start.
What's your name again? Full name, ma'am. Okay, good afternoon. The court is calling case number 250-560-6701. The people of the state of Michigan versus Tisha Yvonne Johnson. Can I have your appearances, please?
Good afternoon, Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Judge Miguel Abrico appearing on behalf of Ms. Johnson, who appears today in person. Ms. Johnson has been advised of her constitutional rights, waives a formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, respectfully requests a not guilty plea be entered on her behalf.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Coyle, is there bond recommendations?
Recommending a personal bond, Your Honor, with no contact. This is a 2023 case, not signed until February 25. So I would ask for a personal and no contact with Lakeitha Holloway.
Any
No objection, Judge. And Judge, I just want to make clear, I just want to inform the court, Ms. Johnson came in today on this matter. She is a resident of Georgia. And I would just like to inform you of that and allow her to travel freely to take care of this matter from Georgia and back. She takes care of both of her nieces in Georgia, one of which is disabled.
Okay, yes. Well, the record indicates an address on Cheyenne, so it is.
I believe because the
Has that
complaint is so
changed?
old. Yeah, it
is
has changed.
23. Okay. All right, so make sure that the court has her updated information.
Yes, Judge.
But the court will allow her to travel back and forth. Georgia. Okay, so the bond is set at $5,000 personal, and she has two court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 9th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Giles. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 16th at 8:30. That will be in person before Judge Giles here in the 36th District Court. So while you're on bond, ma'am, you're to stay away from and have no contact with Lakeitha Holloway. Okay, hold on a moment, let's see this address. Also, you're not to enter or go to the Fourier location. You understand? All right, okay.
I don't even live in Michigan.
Well, you're here today. And so while you're here, you're not to go to those locations or have any contact with her. So it should be easy since you don't live here. Well, you have to follow instructions now in terms of getting your paperwork from the court officer. And then once you're free to leave, then you may proceed to move or travel back to Georgia. Okay. All right. Is there anything else from either party?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Then this concludes this matter, ma'am. Thank you for walking in. Georgia. All right. One moment. Okay, Mr. Caldwell, sir, thank you for your patience. Okay. Mr. Caldwell has some tickets. I'm going to address those tickets first. It's just a couple. Mr. Caldwell, sir, because well, you know what? I better get you to state your full name for the record since you were waiting. Go ahead, state your full name. Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Caldwell, because you failed to appear for some court dates relating to your tickets, there were some bench warrants that were issued. So the court's going to set those bench warrants aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling case number U 503-43419, 8/12/2019. You're charged with disorderly conduct. There's also case number, U 398-99217. Offense date is 12/19/2017, and you're charged with violation of the city marijuana code. So for those charges, sir, you could face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial date for June the 24th at 9 o'clock, and that will be before Judge Christina Kennedy, okay, by Zoom. All right, Mr. Caldwell, can I get you to restate your name for the record? We're gonna move on to your main case. Court is calling case number 25-0579-0001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Paul C. Caldwell. Appearances, please.
Benson for the people.
Judge Miguel Brico on behalf of Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Caldwell has been advised of his constitutional rights, waives the formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, requests a not guilty plea on this matter.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Caldwell. Bond recommendation from the people.
Recommending personal, no drugs, no alcohol through the pendency of the action. No drugs or alcohol.
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Caldwell, the court is going to set a bond in the amount of $5,000 personal. While you're on bond, sir, you may not use any illegal controlled substances. That nobody. Where did you get the drugs from, Mr. In the report? Let's see.
Some of the things that I read outside of the report, magistrate, as well as the behavior that was used.
Okay, well, so what you're reading outside of the report, but you got to help the court because that information is not known. We just can toss out conditions without it being substantiated. So what are you referencing? Is it a statement? Because the court doesn't see that in the report. Let's see. Okay, so I will take that back. That was from 2017 or something for the violation of marijuana code, but that would be marijuana, which is not legal. So I'm not going to pose that condition unless I have a little more information, Mr. Vincent.
I have a 21 controlled substance. I had a note that talked about the police feeling as though the defendant, because of his erraticness, may have been on something. I have also in 21, I have out of Louisiana, I have same types of charges. At that time, when he was resisting arrest, he was found to have drugs on his person. I have in 23 him getting stopped for a disorderly. Drugs weren't attached to that. Magistrate, if you're comfortable with the no drugs or taking away the no drugs and alcohol, it's the people's interpretation of this just based on our reading, that they may have been involved in this. Seeing the history, seeing what you actually just ended up arraigning them on the citations. But I don't really want to take too much of the court's time with this. If you feel more comfortable going a different way, that's why you're the magistrate.
Is there any response, Mr. Rico?
Judge, I would leave it in your discretion. I understand from the reports that I see, you are correct. There's no other stuff than that old marijuana violation, which, as we all know now, is legal. I'll leave it at discretion of the court. Again, no objection to that personal bond.
Okay, so I didn't see where the officers noted in the investigator's report, and it may have been a history of some of those contacts with controlled substances. And as a condition, sir, you're not to engage in any, criminal behavior. And so that is a general condition, provides really an umbrella for some of these other instances where you're not to use drugs. But if it's a concern, no illegal controlled substances, I will note it because it falls in line with no criminal conduct. We don't know
Magistrate,
why
I'm just
yes.
going to read this into the record. In the police report, the police noted that both of the men were intoxicated, so officers never received any full story. They ended up writing their report the best way that they could. Actually, one of the individuals was so intoxicated at the time that the MDOC had to refuse them. They ended up having a PBT of over a 0.265, but we'll leave
That
it up.
was but was Mr. Caldwell said both of them had alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Caldwell, sir,
Yes.
no drugs, no alcohol. That's not okay.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
you got me. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we can move on from this matter. You have 2 court dates.
Okay.
Okay, you're also not to engage in any assaultive behavior. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom for Judge Giles. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 13th at 8:30. That will also be before Judge Giles. However, that will be in person. Okay, so you understand those bond conditions
Yes, ma'am.
and the next court dates. All right, then that concludes your matter. Thank
All right.
you. 5,000 personal.
This one, bro. Step right there, black line. Okay, so face the camera, judge, say the full name.
Mr. Brown?
Hi, how you doing? Yes.
Hi. I was just checking your name, but you seem rather happy. That's good. Because you got a lot of tickets that we need to go through, so just be patient. Come to court with a smile. That's how you do it. All right. Okay, so Mr. Brown, you failed to appear on some tickets and there were bench warrants that were issued. So the court's gonna set those bench warrants aside. Yeah, you seem surprised, but it's a lot of times that you failed to come back. Anyway, you do, yes, you have the right to an attorney. Okay, I'm sorry, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So I'm gonna call these tickets. Case number 1-844-61553. You're charged with no operator's license on person. Case number 1-844-61552. Charged with no insurance. Ticket number, or case number 1-844-61551. You're charged with driving an unregistered vehicle. Case number U463-95818. You're charged with entering private property while closed. Okay. Let's see. Ticket number SP 144-7118. You are charged with driving an unregistered vehicle and driver's license never acquired. Ticket number SP 1418399, charged with improper plates and no insurance. Ticket number SP 1394798, charged with driving an unregistered vehicle and driver's license never acquired, as well as no insurance. Case number 227382013. You're charged with no insurance. Case number 227382012. You're charged driver's license never acquired. And case number 227382011. You're charged with driving an unregistered vehicle. Okay, so Mr. Brown, for those charges, you could face up to 93 days in jail and/or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf and set a personal bond on the tickets. And you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 27th at 9 o'clock. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Yancey, Yancey. Okay? All right, we're gonna move on to your main case. I do need you to restate your name for the record.
Jamal and Brown.
Okay? Court is calling case number 25057900201. The people of the state of Michigan versus Jamal Lynn Brown. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Okay.
Judge Miguel Brico, good afternoon, Ms. Foyle. Miguel Brico appearing on behalf of Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown has been advised of his constitutional rights, waives the formal reading the complaint, stands mute, respectfully requests that this court enter a not guilty plea on this matter.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Brown. Ms. Coyle, bond recommendation.
Recommending a $250,000 cash surety tether house arrest. The complainant, Ms. Burke, in this matter is a 77-year-old woman. She went to the MGM casino, was in her parking spot, a handicapped spot. Out of her back seat pops Mr. Brown. He says to her, "Give me your keys, bitch." She gives her keys, and then he asks her, "Give me your purse. I have a gun." He makes her believe that he is armed. He told her to get out of her car. She gets out of her car and start walking. He makes her believe that he's going to start shooting at her per her statements. He then took her GMC Envoy. This is all captured on the parking structure's video system. The police tracked him down because he was denied entry into the casino that evening. Officers spoke with the friend that he walked in with. She then texted him to pick her up, and then he told her he just got a silver Envoy. Officers picked him up in the stolen vehicle. He also has a pending larceny from a motor vehicle, currently scheduled for pretrial June 17th before Judge Blount, who's doing the Deborah Thomas docket. He's got a jury trial scheduled for the 23rd of this year. He's also got a pending retail fraud in the 36th District Court. He has a failure. I should take it back. He's got a failure to appear on that retail fraud, 2 of them. His final pretrial on that is June 5th. His bond on the larceny from a motor vehicle currently is $10,000 personal with a tether. Your Honor, the people also note that he has a 1998. His criminal history goes back far. Home invasion second, uttering and publishing as a juvenile, 2018 CCW, and a 2024 disorderly. People believe not only while he's on bond for a larceny out of a motor vehicle, he then preys upon a 77-year-old woman at the casino and gets in her car and takes her vehicle by insinuating that, making her believe he had a weapon. Based on that, Your Honor, the evidence is very great as far as the allegations go. At this point, Your Honor, people believe he's a danger, and I'm asking for that $250 cash surety, tether house arrest. Of course, no, if he is able to make bond, no contact with the complainant as well as the casino. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brico, your response, please.
Yes, Judge.
Hold on, Mr. Brown, let your lawyer respond.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, I see you wanting to speak. I just want to let you know you have a right to speak, but anything you say is not going to change the outcome of today. Our goal is to try to help you with your bond conditions. You should not speak about your case with anybody. It will be used against you. It'll never be used to help you. Only speak to your attorney. Judge, I just want to start off. I don't like to talk about the particulars of these incident reports, but Mr. Brown does have the presumption of innocence. As of today, as it stands, he's not guilty of anything in relation to this case. I do understand the allegations made against him, along with the allegation that he had mentioned a gun. I just want to mention no gun was found, no gun was taken into evidence. It's not even clear if Mr. Brown owns a gun. I just would like to acquiesce any fears that this court might have of Mr. Brown having access to a weapon. It doesn't appear that he does have access to one. It appears, if anything, mere words were the only weapon allegedly used. Judge, I understand what's going on here. I understand the severity of these. I would like to state that any amount of bond imposed is unaffordable. I know to ask for a personal bond on a matter such as this would be impractical. I would ask you for a reasonable cash bond on this matter. Mr. Brown is already on tether for a prior case. I believe that that tether may also serve as a deterrent and as an assurance that he's going to show up to future hearings. So I think flight of risk can be taken care of on that matter. On the danger to the public part, it appears that this stranger is unrelated. I think a no contact order with the stranger is very abundantly clear and can be accomplished as they don't know each other. And I would ask you, Judge, for a reasonable cash bond, no objection to any tether restrictions, no objection to not going back to the casino, and obviously no objection to any other conditions you deem fit. The money is the biggest problem here. It's obviously a money issue. We're in the city of Detroit. It is hard for people to come up with money. It ends up becoming a barrier to a point where if you're rich, you can get out of jail, you can get out of pretrial detention. I would request something reasonable on this matter, Judge, and if not, a redetermination hearing on the matter.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Brown, you came out here smiling, sir. That was good, but
Because I'm innocent.
no, I don't want you to comment on the case, okay? I don't want you to comment on the case because these are some very serious charges. Now it's alleged that you preying upon someone at the casino in a handicap spot of all spots, and then a more seasoned
I'm guilty.
woman. Even though it's alleged that no gun was found, it doesn't mean that person knew that there was no weapon. Now it's time for Mr.
Mr. Brown,
Mr.
Mr. Brown, please don't talk. Please, you only hurt yourself. You're not doing me no favor, but you only hurt yourself. Just remain quiet.
It's not me, Your Honor. Why would I do that and not have that pending case here? I would be down in that.
Mr. Brown, we can sing at the same time, but we can't talk together. Okay, so just listen right now. All right. Again, preying upon an older, or should I say seasoned person, and claiming to have a weapon, making threats about shooting the person. So you pose a danger. And while he may not have had a weapon in the past, he had a CCW back in 2018. And so, having access or being able to get one, certainly that was an option. And no one knew that he didn't have it on that date, but he implied that he did. So with it, Mr. Brown, when the court is talking, that means you should be listening, okay? Yes, you. Okay. Anyway, so the court does find that by clear and convincing evidence that a cash bond is necessary to protect the complaining witness as well as the community. Sir, while you're on bond, I'm going to post cash bond in a moment, but while you're on bond, you're not to have any contact with the Gilda Burke, B-U-R-K-E, and you're not to go to the MGM casino. And the court is also going to indicate you may not possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. So the court is going to set a $75,000 cash surety bond. He does already have a condition for tether on another case. The court is not going to impose another tether. And is that unaffordable? You've indicated, I believe, Mr. Brico. Mr. Brico, unaffordable, right?
Yes, Judge. Sorry, I was having an issue with mute. Yes, Judge, that is unaffordable.
Okay, all right. Then, Mr. Brico, you have a bond
Right.
redetermination hearing. Mr. Brico, you have to listen. I mean, Mr. Brico, Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, you have to listen. Bond redetermination hearing. June the 2nd.
You're
That's
right.
Monday. That'll be at 9 o'clock before Judge McConigal or Judge Williams. Okay, listen for your court dates. You have two more. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 11th at 8:30. That'll be before Judge Taylor by Zoom. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 18th at 8:30. However, that one will be in person. Okay, that concludes this matter.
Your Honor, can you lower the bond? I didn't do none of this shit.
Mr. Brown, on June 2nd, don't swear in the court. On June 2nd, you will see another judge and they will determine to lower that bond or not. Have a great day. Take care.
Put the bond up like that.
What is his name? Jacob. No, we don't got it.
Your full name, bro. Robert Gerald Butler.
Okay, Mr. Butler, give me one moment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler has the tickets, a couple tickets, or one looks like. All right, Mr. Butler, because you failed to appear for a court hearing, there was a bench warrant that was issued. The court is going to set aside that bench warrant. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling case number 18. Oh, wait a minute. Calling ticket number 319907. You're charged with no operator's license on person. For that charge, you could face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 27th at 9 o'clock. That will be before Judge Yancey by Zoom. Okay, can you restate your name for the record? We're going to call your main case.
Robert F. Butler.
Okay, court is calling case number 25057222901. The people of the state of Michigan versus Robert Fitzgerald Butler. Appearances, please.
Well, appearing on behalf of the people.
Judge Miguel Brico appearing on behalf of Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler has been advised of his constitutional rights, waives the formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, respectfully requests that this court enter a not guilty plea on this matter.
Okay, the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Butler. My recommendation? Ms. Coyle.
Recommending 25,000 personal bond, no contact with any of the 6 complainants. Ms. Pye, this is a property dispute. Mr. Butler is her uncle. I don't see a criminal history, traffic only, so no objection to 25,000 personal with no contact.
Any objection, Mr. Brico?
No objection, Judge. Judge, would you, if you don't mind, would you just read the count for this? What he is charged with? I just want to make sure I have my file correct.
Yes. Okay, Robert Fitzgerald Butler is in the case on 4/18/25, location on Greenfield. He's charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, also known as felonious assault. Carries up to 4 years. Is that what you have?
No, I'm sorry, Judge. I'm looking for the correct file on this matter. I have
Case number 25057222901. We had 2 Butlers that were up.
Yeah, we had 2. I only received 1 Butler.
Oh, you only had 1? We had Adrian Butler. That was
In,
done
in any
already.
event,
and
we,
then
in any event, we've interviewed
is
any
Robert
clients that are coming forth between this court and they have been advised of those rights, and we would never object to a personal bond on the matter. And we can move forward with that. I just wanted to be sure of the charge.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
so,
Yeah, that's wrong.
all right.
He's doing it.
All right, the court will set, this is from. Court will set a $25,000 personal bond. Mr. Butler, that means you don't have to post any money, sir, to get out. But while you're on bond, you are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You're also not to have any contact with, looks like Katina Butler or Tamara Pye. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes,
Okay. All right, hold on one moment. Okay, Mr. Butler, you have two court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 12th at 8:30. However, that will be in person in the 36th District Court before Judge Jefferson. Okay? All right, and that concludes this matter. Thank you.
Brooks. 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 Step on the black line. Face the camera, say your full name.
Yes, sir. Your name, please?
Eric Brooks.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Brooks. The court is calling case number 2504540101. The people of the state of Michigan versus Eric Deshaun Brooks. Can I have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Okay,
Judge Miguel Brico appearing on behalf of Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks has been advised of his constitutional rights, waives a formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, respectfully requests that this court enter a not guilty plea on this matter.
okay. The court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Brooks. By recommendation, Ms. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
No objection to a personal. No contact.
objection. Understood. No objection to either.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brooks, the court is gonna set a $5,000 personal bond, which means you don't have to post any money to get out, but while you're on bond, you may not have any contact directly or indirectly with Ayanna Thomas. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, one moment. Okay. All right, Mr. Brooks, you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 13th. That will be at 8:30 before Judge Jones. That'll be by Zoom. And if the court didn't say it, you are not to possess or purchase any firearms or any other dangerous weapons while you're on bond. You understand that? Okay, all right, that concludes this matter.
Step on the black line. Face the camera, say your full name.
Who's on Michael Latubes?
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Natubitz. The court is calling case number 250-579-0401. The people of the state of Michigan versus Levi Michael Natubitz. Can I have your appearances, please?
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vincent for the people.
At the ball, I got
Judge
Gatewood.
Miguel Brico on behalf of Mr. Nakubix. Mr. Nakubix has been advised of his constitutional rights, waives a formal reading of the complaint, stands mute, respectfully requests that a not guilty plea be entered on his behalf.
All right, then the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Natubitz. Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, here, we're gonna be
Kind of,
asking, oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna be asking for a remand. We actually can ask for it under a number of different paragraphs under the statute. The defendant's currently on parole for 2 separate convictions of felony armed robbery. He also has accumulated multiple violent felony convictions within the last 15 years. And here he's being charged with unarmed robbery. Just to refresh this court's recollection, which I'm sure I really don't have to, it was more for me than for you, magistrate. Under an unarmed robbery, it is involving any person who shall assault another with force and or violence, which would meet the requirement for a violent felony under the statute. And here, again, we have another situation. While the defendant, he's actually an absconder from parole. He absconded 2.5 weeks before this particular incident. So while being on parole, while absconding, while collecting multiple violent felony convictions within the last 15 years, he continues to use force in order to steal. And that's exactly what he did here. I believe it was all caught on surveillance video. Respectfully, we're asking for a remand.
Okay, your response, Mr. Brico.
Judge, defense would ask for a reasonable bond on this matter. Any amount of bond that you impose will be unaffordable for Mr. Natubix. Judge, I would like to mention that in this case, not to litigate any of the facts, it appears he was allegedly at a convenience store and taking items from a convenience store. Is this a crime of the year, or is this something that was of necessity and is something that happens in low income brackets? We don't know. It's not for us to even litigate, but just something to bring attention to this court. Mr. Natubix is a lifelong resident of Michigan. His mother just passed away 4 weeks ago. He has indicated to my office that he does have a substance use issue, and this may contribute to some of the things that are occurring in his life right now. His parole officer currently wants him to go to rehab. I would like for him to exit the jail and attend counseling and attend that type of service if possible. I think any amount of bond you impose is going to be affordable. To ask for a personal bond on the matter, as Mr. Vincent stated, I'm aware of the statutory provisions around pretrial release and what type of crimes would or would not necessitate that. I would request a reasonable cash bond, Your Honor, and I would also request a redetermination hearing on that, as it would be unaffordable for my client.
And I
Okay,
know we all like having a cocktail here and there, but I wouldn't put beer into the category of a necessity for something that somebody may need to steal if they're in the lower income brackets, but I'll digress.
If either me or you suffered from substance abuse issues, we would have a different view on it, but
But
unfortunately,
that's
we're not
not
in
what
that
you said,
position.
counsel. You said socioeconomic issues. You
Okay,
didn't
you
talk
guys,
about
no, we're not gonna
substance
go
issues.
back.
I did mention the substance abuse issues
Okay,
as well,
no,
Mr. Vincent.
no,
I digress.
okay. All right, both of you, I've heard your arguments. Thank you so much. So the substance abuse, is it alcohol or is it drugs or a combination, Mr. Brico?
Judge,
'Cause I'm
he has
gonna
indicated
impose
to my
a
office it
condition.
is a combination.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Natubitz, I'm gonna give you your bond conditions first. You are not to use any alcohol or any illegal controlled substances while this matter is pending. And you're not to enter the Family Dollar on East Warren. Sir, this is not the typical, quote unquote, typical robbery, unarmed. But we know the law changed many years ago when it's a retail fraud and there's some assault in trying to reach your destination safely with the property, then it turns into an unarmed robbery. So nevertheless, there was an assault while you were attempting to retain property that was unlawfully taken from the store, regardless of whether or not those were items of necessity or otherwise, they were taken without the owner's permission. That was Family Dollar's permission. But the court, while I have the option to remand, let me ask you a question about the parole. Are there PVs on those cases yet, Mr. Vincent? This was just 528, but you said he had already absconded. So was it a PV warrant in place?
I don't even know if everything's caught up in the system. He ended up absconding. I believe it was either 510 or 512. So it was about 17 days prior to this incident.
Got my PBs today.
And so, okay, you said you did go to court today?
I got my PBs today. She came and gave it to me. I got 2 PBs one for the calendar, 2 for the Family Dollars, 3 for the Family Dollars, 1 for assault, 1 for intimidating behavior, and 1 for taking stuff for Family Dollars. Three violations for the same matter.
Okay.
Thank you,
I don't
Mr.
know.
Natubis.
Oh, they included they included the current. No, they couldn't include the current Family Dollar because it was just 528. It's 530. Okay. DDC, do we show that we have any PV holds or anything?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do? Oh, okay. All right then. All right, so Mr. Vincent, I'm not gonna order remand. He does have a lot going on. He's got to address those other cases as well. I do find though that a cash bond is necessary. I did look at the history as it relates to the other RA charges that you mentioned. It looks like one for 2020 and 19, both are unarmed robbery. I don't know if there's similar circumstances. One are out of Macomb and one out of Wayne. So the court is gonna impose a $75,000 cash surety bond. And I've already given the bond conditions. Mr. Natubis, you have 2 court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. Then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled. What happened?
Good. I just want,
He had another court date, DDC. Can we get him back a moment? Or was he just done? Or he decided he was done for the day?
Magistrate, while we're waiting, and I
Okay.
apologize.
Oh, there he is. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I guess we're not waiting anymore, but regarding the monitorization, I do have the absconsion as well. I have a prior felony escape causing injury too. Was that something that you would be considering on top of the cash surety?
But man, you looking up
Does
stuff,
he use it?
bro.
Mr. Natubis, it's okay. You don't have to speak to that. Let the judge speak. And
Just give us
Judge,
a
I
minute.
just would say, we've already gone beyond the bond. I don't know if you would want to readjust it for that fact. I think 75,000 cash surety is going to be readjusted.
For somebody that's
Redetermination.
taking items out Family Dollar, putting them in his pants, I'm not certain that, $75,000 cash surety bond won't be sufficient. Plus, it appears that DDC indicates there are holes that he's gonna have to address in other jurisdictions. I don't think that he's gonna be going anywhere anytime soon. So the court is satisfied with the bond that has been put in place.
All
Man,
right.
I have all in other jurisdictions. I only have
Alright,
all
but
my warrant.
Okay, Mr. Natubis, sir, you have to listen. I have given you your first court date, but you have a a preliminary examination date of June the 12th. That's at 8:30 before Judge Jefferson. That one will be in person, okay?
Judge, may I have
Alright,
the
that's
redetermination hearing date?
Yes, thank you for that. Bond redetermination date will be on June the 2nd
Thank you very much.
at 9 o'clock, Judge McConicle or Judge Williams.
Magistrate?
Yes, you need me, Ms. Coyle?
Yes, I'm sorry. Before you move to the next case, I'm gonna ask, and it's my mistake, and I'm gonna say that. On Mr. Brooks, I had written in my notes that I was gonna ask you for a tether on that matter. And no objection to a personal, but because the allegations that a weapon was used, although not charged, I wrote in my notes, ask for a tether, and I did not say it on the record. So I don't know if you would reconsider that on Mr. Brooks.
Probably not, but let me just look at the file.
I'm sorry about
I will
that.
look back at the file. That's okay, that happens.
I make
Sir,
mistakes just
can I
like
have,
everyone else,
Mr.
but
Brooks' file back.
Yeah. Ms. Coyle, if you live a week in my life, mistakes are the only thing that I seem to be making lately.
well, it's a lifelong thing, so
Who's at
you just
DDC
have
right
to
now,
own up
sir?
to them.
I'm sorry. What's your name? You have to speak up.
Verdale Dion Hall Jr.
Okay, hold on a minute. I think Ms. Cooper's needed 3 release forms. It's 2 in there, Madam Clerk. Okay, Eric Brooks. Oh, it don't matter, okay. All right, so Mr. Brooks' case, okay, the court will recall. Did they bring they haven't brought Mr. Brooks back, and we have to,
Okay,
let me see. Yeah, it's a different person up there right now, but let me see if I'm gonna reconsider or not. Because- Okay, so I see a weapon, but I see it was observed, it says it was 2 offenders. And so he says the officers indicating they observed it in one of the offenders' right hand.
Correct, Judge. And
So
then
it
the
doesn't
statement
say-
from the complaining witness mentions that the firearm was in a different gentleman's hands, not Mr. Brooks' hands. So the defendant at this case presently was not the one, by the witness's own account, that had the firearm in his hand.
And I know that we were talking about it without him, but no,
Yeah.
I won't recall it, Ms. Coyle. I think the bond in place is sufficient, considering it
okay. Well,
was
I
not the
appreciate,
other.
I
Okay,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
reviewing that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, then we said this was who? The next person? Your name again? I'm sorry.
Ardell Dion Hall Jr.
Mr. Hall. Okay, thank you for your patience, Mr. Hall. Okay, the court will call case number 25057906001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Verdale Dion Hall Jr. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate Steve Vincent for the people.
Judge Philip Reagan on behalf of Mr. Hall. Good afternoon to everyone. Waive the formal reading, stand mute. He's been advised of his rights, Judge.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Hall, and good afternoon to you, Mr. Reagan.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Vincent, my
Uh,
recommendation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reagan.
Thank you, Mr. Judge.
This one's a no objection to personal, no guns.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, hold on a moment. All right, the court will set a $5,000 personal bond. Mr. Hall, sir, while you're on bond, you may not possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. No guns. You understand that?
Have a good one.
Okay. All right, that's a $5,000 personal bond, and you have 2 court dates. You have a probable cause conference. Let me see, are there other charges? Is this Judge Robbins on one, on Miss Johnson, give me one moment. Would this be Judge Robbins, the first one, since it's only a CCW?
If it's only a CCW and they don't have any other charges there.
Okay. It wasn't on there, so, all right. Just want to be sure. Okay, so sir, your probable cause conference is scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That will be before Judge Robbins by Zoom. Then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 13th at 8:30. However, that will be before Judge Giles, a different judge, in person in the 36th District Court. Okay, you understand your bond conditions on your next court date?
Yes.
All right, then that concludes this matter. Thank you.
Next man, next man. Black man, it's the camera.
Ariq Gatewood.
All right, Mr. Gaywood, good afternoon, sir. Court is calling case number 2505-790-501. The people of the state of Michigan versus Tyreek Jamal Gatewood. Can we have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Mr. Philip Reagan on behalf of Mr. Gaywood, waive the reading stand mute. Judge has been advised of his rights.
All right, then the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Gatewood. Ms. Coyle, you have bond recommendation?
Criminal history for Mr. Gatewood. This is traffic stop for no insurance. No objection to a 5,000 personal.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, then the court will set personal bond in the amount of $5,000. Mr. Gatewood, that means that you don't have to post any money to get out. But while you're on bond, sir, you are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapons. No guns. Okay? You have 2 court dates. You have a probable cause, let's see, this is another CCW only. So should be Robbins. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Robbins. Then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 13th at 8:30. That will be before Judge Jefferson in the 36th District Court in person, okay? All right, then that concludes this matter.
Next man. Step on the black line. Face the camera, say your full name.
All right, sir, your name, please? Is it Isaac Jones? Okay, all right, thank you. I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Oh, Isaac Keith Jones, okay. All right, the court is calling case number 250-579-0801. The people of the state of Michigan versus Isaac Keith Jones. Appearances from the people?
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Reagan on behalf of Mr. Jones, Your Honor, waive the reading stand mute. It's been advised of his rights.
All right, court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Jones. Ms. Coyle, my recommendation?
Recommending a 10,000 cash surety with a tether. His priors are 2003 assault on a prison employee, 2002 armed robbery, 2 counts, UDA. He was just discharged parole from October 4th of 24. This complainant, Dina Senance, was a complainant in a case. It was a domestic violence. The date of that offense was February 16th of this year. It was dismissed without prejudice before Judge Garrett, I believe it was Judge Garrett, on March 28th. Allegedly, he strangled her, but she did not show up. This case occurred on the 25th. She made the report on the 27th. Allegedly, this is her ex-boyfriend that's stalking her. He came through the window and choked her and made threats to harm her. There was a note in the prosecutor's file that the defendant was making calls at the DDC. So I would ask them, asking for that 10,000 cash surety with a tether and no contact, Your Honor.
Mr. Reagan, your response?
Yeah, Judge, I'm asking for personal bond, no contact. My client, Judge, was staying at the place until he and Miss Nance, they, decided she didn't want him to stay there any longer. So, on the date of May 27th, Judge, I think it was a Tuesday, she calls the precinct about 11 times saying, "Hey, come get him. I want him out of my house." And they completely tell her, "Hey, listen, you got to go through the eviction process." So then at some point she goes and according to my client, makes this up, because it would make sense, Judge, if somebody came through your window home invade on a Sunday, that you would call the police on Sunday, or maybe even call them on Monday, but you wouldn't wait until Tuesday to walk into a precinct and then report it. So I kind of take what he says, it kind of makes a little more sense than what she's trying to allege that happened. So I'm asking for the personal bond. I told him he has to get a escort to get some of his items if he wants them, but you're not going to allow him to go back there simply because this case is in place. So that would be my request, Judge. He says he never, this was not a home invasion, nor did he ever put his hands on her.
All right, thank you. Every case, it's one side, the other side, and then somewhere in the middle, a different side. So I don't know, but Mr. Jones, whatever defenses that you have to these allegations can certainly be raised at trial. Right now, you're at an arraignment, and then the court has to set a bond that's reasonable, that will assure your appearance in court as well as protecting the community. These are some unusual facts. I don't know if it was they were dating a year or stalking a year. It looks like I read it as they had dated 1 year. And I'm not certain what's going on. It appears that there's a breakup and you're no longer wanted at the fielding location. So do not go back to the fielding location. Mr. Jones, is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Reagan, is your client working or anything?
Judge, he's not, he's in the process of looking for employment at this present time, Judge. He is not working.
Ms. Coyle, you mentioned, was he off parole in October?
His discharge was October 4th, yeah.
Okay, and that was from the 2022 case?
Yes, he had an armed robbery, 2 counts in Utah. He had 20 to 40 on that.
So the court is kind of mulling over this one a little bit.
My animals still at the house.
Okay, no, Mr. Jones, I don't need your input as it relates to the facts. So your lawyer is doing a good job for you.
And Judge, just one more thing, and I apologize to the court. So she goes into the precinct and makes a report, then goes back home, because when they come and arrest him, she's there at the house too. And that to me didn't make sense that they would allow her to go back home after she said somebody broke into her house and assaulted her. I mean, that's just part of my perspective and just listening to, the whole thing and kind of reading through it. But that's just me.
It's unfortunate when, these breakups tend to lead to landlord-tenant cases and misdemeanor and felony cases. When the relationship is over, it's just over. So again, I don't know what happened there. Some concern there in terms of the delay, in terms of these reporting this offense. But again, he is found there. What the court is going to do? The court is as he said he was going to harm her. The court is going to set I'm going to set a personal bond in the amount of $75,000 with a tether. So, Mr. Jones, you're not to go to the fielding location. And you're not to have any contact with Dina C. Nance. You're also, I'm gonna put it here, you're not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. And it's a location tether. No contact. Okay, all right, so Mr. Jones, you understand those bond conditions, sir?
Yeah, I have my clothes and my dogs there. How do I do that?
Your clothes and your dogs. Are they her dogs or your dogs?
Oh, I have my dog. My dogs. I have four bullies there. Then I have my clothes and the stuff that I
Oh.
left here.
Okay, the court will allow one time for you to go to that location with the police, though. Actually, do you have anybody else that could go to the location on your behalf?
No, ma'am. It's me. It's me.
Okay. So, but someone else, I don't want you necessarily reaching out to her. And whether or not you can just pop up on her doorstep with the police, I don't know how that's gonna work. All right, I'll allow one-time escort to the address, but you must be escorted by the police to pick up your belongings, sir. Don't go there on your own. Do you understand that, sir?
I'm just that's not.
Okay, all right, then that concludes this matter. Again, Ms. Noes, court dates, probable cause conference scheduled for June the 9th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Giles. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 16th at 8:30 before Judge Giles by Zoom. All right, that concludes this matter.
Except for Black Lives, somebody sit down, 1, 2, 4,